So I've been fostering for this
rescue beep. Rescue
Yeah.
beep.
So I've been, guys, ça suffit, okay? Faut te calmer. Sorry, everybody's having a wrestle match now.
That's
Okay, so
okay.
I've been rescuing with a specific organization, a breed-specific organization, since January of this year. I recently took on my fourth foster, September 14th. He was surrendered to the animal shelter after being adopted from that same shelter a year prior. So they adopted this boxer out to a family that lived in an apartment building on the 17th floor. Anybody that knows the boxer breed knows that a boxer can't live in an apartment on the 17th floor because
Yeah.
they are wired for life. In any case, they had the dog for a year. They surrendered it to the shelter, and they said that they surrendered it because the dog had a bite, that it bit the guy's 22-year-old son.
Right.
What the shelter divulged to us is that they felt that this family made a false claim about a human bite because they didn't want to pay the surrender fee. When you adopt an animal from the shelter, if you want to return it, there's a penalty fee. They felt this family lied about a human bite so they wouldn't have to pay the surrender fee because that's the only way to get out of paying a fee.
Right.
I've had this dog for 2 months. He's never bit a human in the 2 months he's been with me. He's been around a 3-month-old baby, my 2-year-old niece, my 12 and 14-year-old nephews. Tons of family, haven't had any issues.
Right.
However, we were advised by a shelter that he was other dog friendly. So day one, I take him home. We're going for a walk. We're walking by this Shar-Pei, and he goes to greet in a manner that is not acceptable. I pull him back, and his snaggletooth cuts a line right down the side of this chocolate Shar-Pei. The family indicated to me that Shar-Peis have tissue paper skin, that it's no big deal. We sent them to an emergency vet clinic in our area. The bill was $600. Rescue organization contacted me the next day and said they were not willing to accept the liability and that I had to return Samson to the shelter. I asked at that time if they had guaranteed that they would not euthanize Samson, and they indicated to me that they would not make that promise. When they indicated to me that they weren't willing to promise not to euthanize, that to me is a commitment to euthanize. I had had 3 successful fosters. If I felt like Samson was a danger to people or animals, I wouldn't have him in my home because I have animals myself. I have my 11-month-old boxer American Bulldog, I have cats, and I have bunnies. If I felt like any of my family was at risk, I wouldn't have taken him on.
Right.
What they said to me is that they had another organization that would be willing to work with him, and it would take about a month to place him.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, no problem. I called, I texted, I emailed. Nobody would return any of my correspondence. I tried every week for a month. Then I tried another 2 weeks. Do you want to know when I received the response? After I started contacting other rescues, it got around. Apparently I created a buzz in the rescue world, and one of the dog trainers finally called me and said, you've created quite a stir. People are getting complaints about your story at the rescue. And I said, I haven't said anything negative about the rescue. I have strictly said exactly what occurred. But I just felt like in a time of need, when we're supposed to be rescuing and then you turn your back, he is such a lover. He is such a family boy. He loves to snuggle. He just has no socialization skills. He was not socialized. When he came to me from the shelter, he was 40 pounds. His back was 2 inches wide.
My God.
2 inches. His ribs were protruding. His eyeballs were protruding. He was skittish over everything. You just moved a hand and he jumped a mile like you were going to kill him. Fast forward 2 months later, he is now a healthy 50 pounds. He has 2 meals a day, 2 cups in the morning, 2 cups in the afternoon. He lives with, it took a month to integrate him into the household with Tika, but he lives with her full time now. And they sleep together, they eat together, they play together. We have not had any issues.
So you basically have no support. You don't have any support.
No, basically that's the issue, right? Because when you sign on with a rescue organization, they cover the vet bills.
Right.
They cover any altercations. So when they said they didn't want to take on the liability, and that I had three options: return him to the shelter, or they will come to my home and return him to the shelter, or I adopt him. Obviously, I'm not going to let them euthanize him because I see he's an amazing dog.
Yeah, yeah.
I signed the adoption papers, and I committed that I would take it on personally to find him a household and a forever family. So,
That's just, oh, because
so
it's
I signed
like,
it up. Yeah. And then I tried other rescues, and like I said, I emailed back and forth, and the response that I got was, "How dare you adopt a dog and try to wash your hands of it?" Even though I clearly indicated to them exactly what I'm telling you right now.
yeah,
That they were
yeah.
going to euthanize him, and the only way to keep him from being euthanized was to adopt him. So adopt him,
That's not right that they put that responsibility on
right?
fosters, especially when we're just volunteers.
Right. And I think for me, what was really upsetting was like, it's our say, and we say we're not saving this dog because it's too much of a liability. It's like you take all of these dogs out of perfectly good homes because families don't want them. That's not a rescue organization, that's a placement program.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
want to take dogs out of fancy homes because the owners are too lazy to care for them or exercise them or spend time with them? Call yourselves a pet placement program. Don't call yourselves a rescue. A rescue is specifically for animals that are on their last leg, that don't have anywhere else to go, that have behavioral issues, that are fearful, that have been poorly treated. That's the whole point of a rescue. You're rescuing them from their fate, from their past experiences, and rehabilitating them into healthy households.
Yeah, yeah,
My last three fosters came from perfectly good households, perfectly great families that just didn't have the time.
yeah.
Not from abusive situations, not from neglectful situations, not from any of those situations. He was at the shelter for 3 months. They were feeding him starch chips.
Gosh.
I'm like, it says renal on the bag. Like, does he have kidney problems? Well, no. Well, then why are you feeding him starch chips? Well, because he has diarrhea. I'm pretty sure starch chips aren't going to help with diarrhea.
Gee, I wonder why.
Right? I'm like, and I don't work at the shelter, and I don't work at an animal facility. I just, Google when an animal has an issue.
Yeah.
Like probiotics, some kind of anti-diuretic medication. They hadn't given him anything. They had not tried to curb this diarrhea.
So now, shoot, now it's pretty much now you have to find him a home, right?
Right, and the thing is like, I take him outside, like I do take him to the dog park, I muzzle him, and I try to teach him proper socialization, but he pretty much headbutts everything he walks by. And it's probably because he feels vulnerable too, right, because he has a muzzle on.
Yeah.
He's not able to properly greet because he doesn't know how to properly greet, so I can't risk, right? But the
Right.
dogs that he's met on my property, we haven't had any issues with. So he does have leash aggression. Like, he's aggressive on leash, but off leash he's not. He's fearful, submissive.
Right, right.
So when I go out and I take him out in my yard, I take him out with no leash and no collar, and he doesn't leave my side. Like, I want to find him like the best family for
I
him,
know.
however I can. But I already told everybody, like, as long as it takes me to find the right family, is as long as I'll wait. Not like I'm looking to pawn. I'm not willing to give him to somebody that's not willing to commit to forever.
Now, when you do find that interested person, are you gonna waive the adoption fee?
There is no adoption fee because I'm a single person. I've been paying for everything myself.
Yeah.
I'm not an adoption organization. The lady that called tonight, she's like, "And what's his adoption fee?" I'm like, "I don't have an adoption fee because I'm not in an organization."
Yeah, that's
I'm just a
that's what
single
happened to me.
person.
It's like I am not charging. Take him.
Yeah, well, no, it's not that I wouldn't like money because I do. I actually have to pay for his vaccinations myself this month.
Oh gosh.
But I have the most amazing veterinarian, Mississauga Animal Hospital, who gives us a 50% discount on all of our rescues.
Good.
So
Good.
I told him what happened, that he's not in the program anymore, that we got the boot. Would you be willing to help me out since I have to pay for this myself? And he said, absolutely, we'll take care of you.
Aw.
So, yeah.
Good. 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 I'm hoping someone pulls through. Oh, there you go. Hey, buddy, we're trying to find you a home.
Can you be normal for 5 seconds? No, everybody's wrestling?